Hello, guys. Happy Friday. This feels like a Friday. This does. Um, I'm off tomorrow, so that's why it kind of feels like a Friday. But not quite there to Saturday yet, but fantastic overcast. Today it's a very beautiful day, and I'm ready for the final, and I will be live for the final. Um, and I do you can ignore the shirt, you can ignore the beanie. Like let's just let's just keep it down to logic, right? The UAE is full of rich oil money, right? And at the end of the day, did the UAE get their scripted Champions League title? You betcha they did. They didn't win it. They didn't win it the first time around. They lost against Chelsea, but ultimately, 2 years later, UAE in these oil Abu Dhabi uh, rich Middle Eastern Arab oligarchs, they got their Champions League title. They spent billions. UEFA scripted a title for Abu Dhabi to celebrate. And don't think for a second that Qatar is not going to also get their own Champions League title after investing billions of euros in the transfer market, in transfer deals. And now the Munich prophecy is very, very clear. The Munich prophecy says that every single time a Champions League final was held at the city of Munich, a team went on to win their first Champions League title. So, what were the four previous finals? Who were the winners? Nottingham Forest won the first of two Champions League titles, 1979, when they defeated Malmo. In 1993, the last time Ligue 1 won the Champions League, Marseille won their only title, defeating Milan in the final. In 1997, Borussia Dortmund won their only Champions League title, defeating Juventus in a home final at Germany at Munich. In 2012, Chelsea won their first Champions League title at Munich over the Bavarians, over Bayern Munich. So the history in the script, mocking in plain sight, UEFA is basically telling us another final at Munich, another team that's going to win their first ever title. PSG will be the 24th team to win the Champions League. PSG had 24 goals during the Champions League campaign, entering the knockouts right after winning 10-0 against Brest. 14 goals in the group, 10 goals in the playoff round. They entered the knockout with 24. They clinched the Ligue 1 title, 24 points clear of second place over Monaco at the time that they clinched the Ligue 1 title. PSG won 32 games in French competitions this entire season. 32 years ago, Munich was the only time that Ligue 1 won the Champions League title. In the Munich prophecy, kind of ties into Bayern hosting the final. They had a sponsorship with Qatar Airlines. On the side of their jerseys, they had Qatar Airways. So that's the Qatar connection to the host. That's why the Qatar team's going to win the final. Now, we're the only three teams to never rebel against UEFA. Two German teams, Dortmund and Bayern. The third team to never accept the initial invitation to the Super League is Paris Saint Germain. Paris Saint-Germain never agreed, never accepted the initial invitation to the Super League, which was a coup against UEFA. PSG never rebelled against UEFA. Inter did. They rebelled against UEFA, but they only dropped out right after the English clubs dropped out. PSG never even agreed to accept the initial invitation in the first place. That's who UEFA wants to win the Champions League. And we must understand that, of course, that Nasser El Khelaïfi, after Andrea Agnelli resigned as the chairman of the European Club Association, Nasser El Khelaïfi became the chairman of the Club Association of European Football. So he is a very influential figure in the governing bodies of the game. That's who's going to win the Champions League. Dembele is the front runner for the Ballon d'Or. Dembele is going to win the treble. It is Barcelona that is going to exert its revenge and its vengeance over Inter. Pedro with the 2 goals in the decisive match at the San Siro to equalize for Lazio against Inter, and now Dembele to score in the final. So it is over. When we think back to Luis Enrique's daughter, they're talking about the death of his daughter. He's going to win it for his daughter. When we talk and speak about UEFA Super Cup, Vicario is born at Udine, and this incomplete research and getting bungled up with Bruno Fernandes playing with Udinese, the Super Cups at Udinese Stadium. I should have looked at Vicario, and the Europa League final was rigged because Vicario is born at Udine. So he's from the city. He's from Udine. And he had a clean sheet against Man United in the final. So that was the script right from the get-go. The script called for the Udine-born goalkeeper Vicario to be in UEFA Super Cup. And the UEFA Super Cup will be a match between 2 Italian goalkeepers, Donnarumma and Vicario. Donnarumma and Vicario is going to be the matchup, the goalkeeper battle in UEFA Super Cup. Ainge is from Australia, and Luis Enrique lived at Australia to partake in surfing. So ironically, he has a connection to Australia, Enrique. He did surfing lessons and lived at Australia, and he was a surfer. So that could be one of the hidden scripts of the Champions League final. Is that Australian connection to Luis Enrique. And the Inter knows what is about to happen. Inzaghi is about to leave Inter. He's going to leave. He knows it's over. He knows Inter will lose. And he knows that the team is aging. They have greedy American owners. Oak Tree. This team was built under a sporting owner, a true sporting man, Stephen Shea. But these owners of Inter are greedy venture capitalist firms. Redbird is a greedy hedge fund that owns Associazione Calcio Milan. Oak Tree is from the same boat. They only care about making Inter profitable. And will they short sell and sell the team like Elliott did of Milan? Because this could be the ultimate endgame. They want to recuperate their investment. They're all about paying down the debt of Inter. That's what they're doing. They're not going to invest in the team. They will not invest in the team. Greedy hedge fund firms from America only care about turning in investment. They don't care about sporting objectives. These guys haven't owned the team for even a year. And this team was constructed not under the current ownership, but under Stephen Shea. It didn't matter how much debt Inter had. Chang was all about sporting objectives. He's not like these greedy American owners like the Glazers and Redbird they don't care about the sport. They don't care about winning trophies. All they care about is using the club as an investment and not as a team with purely focused on sporting objectives. So this reality is going to showcase itself immediately after the final. I don't believe they're going to invest. I believe these American hedge fund vulture capitalist firms that they're in this to just short sell, quick profit. So that's who Oak Tree are at the end of the day, and it is not a ownership that is focused on winning like PSG's ownership, for example. They're all about the sporting objectives. PSG are going to come through and win this final, and Qatar gets their title like Abu Dhabi.